What's up, guys? Skippy the Loremaster here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the first of many video game reviews. And today specifically we're going to be doing a review on Doom Eternal, the near perfect sequel to Doom 2016 and a true FPS masterpiece. Now specifically we are going to be going over the 5 main concepts behind why I believe that Doom Eternal is such a great game and a masterpiece in general. Number 1 being id Tech 7. Number 2 being its combat. Number 3 being its world, number 4 being its story, and number 5 being its soundtrack. And today I'm going to go over my opinions of each of these different concepts, and let's get started. Now, started off with number 1, id Tech 7. It's its 7th iteration in the id Tech game engine line, which is developed by id Software, the great video game developer who is widely acclaimed for creating the Doom series back in the 90s. And 3D Wolfenstein and Quake, which are some of the most foundational games for several different genres, one being multiplayer, one being the FPS genre, being Doom. And they're also the developers, of course, of Doom 2016, which is powered by id Tech 6. Now, id Tech 7 over id Tech 6 is way more powerful. It's about 10 times the detail, much more faster streaming, and it eliminates a bunch of other different issues that id Tech 6 had, and builds off of its great things that it does, and it allows for such speed and visceral combat that's not allowed for in some other games, and detail with their worlds that's not allowed for some other games, and allows id Software to build such beautiful worlds with such fast rendering. Now, for the second one is combat. Now, the combat for Doom Eternal, I'm not gonna lie, it's intense. It is very intense. Like, take Doom 2016 and bend it over and just put a shot of adrenaline into it, and that's what Doom Eternal is. Like, it's insane. It's visceral, it's gory, it's ever-changing too. It's ever-changing with the climate and with the world that's around it, and it makes you think. It makes you think more for fighting. You see, with normal fighting games like Call of Duty and Destiny, and even Doom 2016, you mainly just have to use, one weapon, basically, and that's about it. And like, for instance, you can use that one OP weapon and you're done. When in Doom Eternal, it makes you fight smart. It makes you switch between different weapons to get different advantages on different enemies for their different weaknesses. Like, for instance, it's much more difficult to kill a Mancubus without his cannons. So what you do is you're able to do one of a couple different things. You can either shoot the grenade from the shotgun and it blows up his arms, or you can use the pinpoint rifle and okay. And you can take it so many different ways. There's so many different ways to approach combat, which is also another form factor to the replayability of it, which is another great thing about Doom Eternal, is the replayability, but that's mainly through the combat and how evolving it is constantly. And they're constantly coming on with updates now to constantly change it, and they just added Empowered Demons, which is an insane, cool thing that I've tried out myself, and all of those different things that make it so great. And the multiplayer also adds to the combat feel, and it's completely refined and completely redefined from Doom 2016 in battle mode, which is something that's very original, and I salute them to. It's asymmetric, and it's just in general fun, and it runs very well. Now, going on to the second aspect, the third aspect of why I believe Doom Eternal is such a great game is its world. Now, going on that aspect of ever-changing combat, because of the enemies, it's also because of the world. And the world, there are so many different missions in so many different places, and it really truly builds up the Doom universe like we've never seen before. And Doom has been limited to specific places such as Mars and Earth and Hell, and realms of Hell. But now we're able to go to all these different realms. We were able to go to the Con Maker's realm, in Argentina, and it's sort of like the heaven of the game. And we're able to go to different areas of Hell, and we're able to go to Earth, we're able to go to Mars. It's insane. And we're even able to go to the Mars moon on Phobos, and so many different places with so many different textures, so many different color schemes, and so many, oh my gosh, it's insane. I love it. I love all the different parts of the world, and once again, it takes 7. It truly helps build that detailed world, and the level of detail, especially from afar, is never accomplishable in Doom 2016 like it is in Doom Eternal. Now, building off that, the fourth main aspect is its story. Now, as I said before, it builds the Doom universe, but with that Doom universe comes its lore and its story. And me being Skippy the Loremaster, I have attempted to understand the lore of video games very thoroughly and very well. And I'm not going to go over specifically in-depth analysis, that can come later, but for the lore, but Doom lore is actually a thing now. Before, it was not. In Doom 2016, it kind of built it up a little bit for the first time ever in the series history with the introduction of Samuel Hayden as a sort of double agent through the process of the game. Him first being an ally, and the Doomslayer just hated him. And then it eventually turned into him being this evil villain. But then it transitions to Doom Eternal. It's kind of insane. And they go over the creation story in Doom Eternal and how the world developed and how these different realms interacted with each other. And it's very interesting, very complex, and it has several different cultures and all these other different things that are just so interesting and so fascinating about Doom. And, I never thought I would say this out of a Doom game, but it's possible, and it happened, and it's insane. And first, so the Doomslayer, it starts off with the Doomslayer having to stop the invasion of Earth from the Khan Maker, who is working with 3 Hell Priests to basically invade Earth and create these portals all over the place and create these nests of demons and stuff to destroy the world. Well, Doomslayer manages to, and spoiler next, so if you don't want to keep watching, turn off right here, okay? But what happens is Doomslayer eventually hunts down all the 3 Hell Priests, surprise. And then after that, he goes up to the Khan Maker, and the Khan Maker is basically like, well, we're creating the Icon of Sin, which if you know anything about the Doom games, it's from the old Doom games. And the Icon of Sin is the son of a former Sentinel, which is also what the Doomslayer is. And the son was killed. Well, the father wanted to resurrect him. So after that, they basically, he made a deal with the devil, bringing the demons to Argentina. And the devil said, or the nameless one as they called him, the Dark Lord, said, okay, I will resurrect your son if you give us the location of Argentina and give away the secrets of this vast realm, and so that we could take it over. And he said, sure, yes, of course. So then after this happened, after Argentina was decimated and completely taken over by hell, well, he resurrected his son, but in the form of a gigantic titan known as the Icon of Sin, an extremely powerful demon and a being of unmatched strength and will, and really the harbinger of the end times, truly. And well, the Icon of Sin was eventually defeated, but the Khan Maker was attempting to resurrect the Icon of Sin for her own benefits and for her own gain, to control it, to then take over the world for her, because she needed to save Argentina, and she needed to save her realm of existence by contracting and sacrificing the lives of humans, and from their souls she was able to power her realm and save it. But so basically she wanted to sacrifice humans to save her own realm, and she wanted to create this gigantic titan and resurrect this evil ancient enemy to destroy the world forever. Well, she manages to do that, but it goes out of control and she's not able to control it anymore. Doomslayer, of course, being a god and whatnot, he kills Khan Maker and then goes and defeats the Icon of Sin, and that there it's kind of a cliffhanger. So I'm going to be looking forward either to the sequel, which is most likely going to happen, or the DLCs, which are eventually coming out, which I'm pretty sure its software is going to do great on. Then the fifth part is, of course, the soundtrack. Now, Doom 2016 is widely known for how great its soundtrack was. Its soundtrack was phenomenal, and it won a Game Award at the Game of the Year Awards. for its soundtrack and how awesome its score was. And it was done by Mick Gordon, just like on 2016. And Mick Gordon is one of the most well-known composers in the video game industry. And he's like heavy metal. He's a heavy metal composer. And Doom games would just not be the same without that soundtrack. That soundtrack just brings up your adrenaline and makes you just want to play the game, and just gets so intensified and makes you just go all over the place. It's insane. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of a serene feeling. But it's unfortunate though that Mick Gordon had to leave due to different complications between the company and Mick Gordon. But we will forever love your work, Mick Gordon, and I just want to say that because your soundtracks are wonderful, excellent. Okay, but I'm pretty positive that the assistant to him, I can't exactly remember the name of him off the top of my head, will do wonderful on the upcoming DLCs and the upcoming games, and it will do great with the soundtrack. Now, with that being said, subscribe to my channel. It's really appreciated. Click that notification button to stay up to date on all my most recent content. Go like all my videos. Go view all my videos. Go help out. It's really appreciated on the channel. And y'all stay happy, okay? Have a great day. Bye-bye.